computer, and then I can upload it. All right. Hello, everyone. We're kind of in the hi. So, however you want to divvy up, this is pretty cool software. As Gary was mentioning earlier, that we can all be fully present here. We can all communicate with each other. I did have to upgrade though, because the free account will only go multiple group people for 45 minutes. So although we might stop at 45 minutes, I didn't want us to have to get cut short in case the conversation keeps going longer. So, listen in since you're...
Yeah, well, if I need to say something, I can say.
Okay, cool. So the reason I wanted to call this was just because we're kind of like last week, there was a lot of uncertainty, okay? And if you're watching this later, it's March 25th, and we're dealing with the coronavirus quarantining, if that's a word. And so nobody is touching each other at all, pretty much. So, thanks. I keep hearing different people that I follow on social media and whatnot that are doing different leadership type things. Michael Hyatt is one of those. Patrick Bet-David is one of those. And I wanted to mastermind a little bit today about some how-tos as far as leadership goes during a time of crisis like this. And I really wanted to just draw on the wisdom of the crowd. So I'm hoping some other people can pop in. John texted me back, and Larry and Debbie texted me back that they're not going to be able to make it. And Cindy, I haven't heard back from. But I assume if she's late, she's probably not coming because she's an on-time type person. So I really wanted to draw on the crowd here, the group mastermind, but I wanted to start with just a few points. When we're looking at something like this coronavirus that has literally caused the world to change in a matter of days, I mean, with the executive order that was passed in our government in America to where we can streamline and cut through the bureaucracy and cut through the FDA and all the different regulations, we can have a bipartisan bill that gets through Congress like within a couple days. That's the largest budget bill in history, probably. I know it was really high up there, $2 trillion to help the economy because we're being required to stay at home. It's crazy. And I don't want the focus of this meeting just to be political, but I know we're going to touch politics because that's what we do in this group. I really want us to think about the how to lead part. What is it that we're practically doing in our niches, in our groups like this, okay? Like this is a group that I'm helping lead and facilitate. So how can I add value to you guys during this time as a leader? And I think one of the big things that I've noticed is what I'm going to term being available, or an open door policy. Because in times like these, I'm not going to reach out to every single person in my tribe. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to reach out to a lot of the top people in my tribe. Checking on them is a good thing to do. But one of the things is being available for the people that are willing to reach out to me. Similar in your own societies. You may check on families and different things, and that's great. But, if you have lots of grandkids, so to speak, a lot of people that you're mentoring in different ways, you might not reach out to them because that's not your relationship or your role in their life to, quote, check on them. Because they don't really need to be checked on. They're not children. Unless they are children, then you do need to check on them. But I just think being available is a form of leadership. Having the open door policy where somebody who has a need can come and ask me to do something. And a brief example, and this is not me bragging, this is just me showing the truth of what happened. Excuse me. Last week, Pastor Dave went through the entire directory, made a lot of phone calls. He and I had a meeting on Wednesday about some other things, some ideas about growing the church and whatnot, and that was really positive. But one of the things that he said was he's going through the directory to reach out to people, just directly. And he ran across Bev Dial taking Kim. Yeah. taking Kim to the hospital for a surgery on Monday. And Bev should not be anywhere near a hospital, especially not going inside during this coronavirus outbreak. You know, she is highly susceptible to it damaging her a lot or killing her. And I'm in the population where I'm pretty healthy, not as prone to getting the sickness. And if I am, I can mitigate it and quarantine myself, no problem. I'm not trying to take care of Jim or even visit him. If he does open up visitation to the nursing home, which right now they're closed. I don't know if y'all heard, but the coronavirus was actually said to have, somebody was tested positive for coronavirus in the nursing home that Jim Dial is in. So he's been even further quarantined away from that. So my point in saying this was Dave called me and said, hey, Andrew, is there something that you can do? And I said, absolutely. I can pick Kim up after she's leaving the hospital. And that was somebody calling on me, and I was able to answer that problem, that need. So I really think that there's a big element to this in almost kind of a stoicism, almost kind of a waiting and being fully present for people that need you, being the rock in somebody's life, not necessarily trying to be the water moving through a river. And just, I had once heard that you can be like the flow of the water and of a river, or you can be the rock that stands in the middle of the river and everything else goes around it. And I kind of feel like the leaders stand out during this time as a rock, as a big boulder. Other things and circumstances have to operate around. They're willing to bend a little bit. Okay, this isn't an overarching principle, but it's not a law. It's just a principle, I should say. But being solid for the people around you so that when they reach out to you, you're not dumping your stuff on them. You've led yourself well. Because if you're not leading yourself well mentally, I had to take like a whole day just to invest in me getting my headspace wrapped around this thing. As far as the strength tests go, I have a high learner and a really high futuristic where I want to think about the future. And my future was very cloudy. I couldn't think far into the future because we didn't know where anything was going to be. And we still don't know, but we're becoming more certain there's more potential for remedies to this virus. So I'm able to see a little bit more clear into the future now as far as having vision. So I'm curious, what have you guys learned? And you're welcome to turn in too. Okay. What have you folks learned from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership book, or maybe from a mentor in your life, that you've been able to apply during this time to A, lead yourself well, B, lead your family, and C, lead in your economic status, whether that's volunteer work or job work or business? Okay, so does anybody want to go first?
I will.
All right, thanks, Donna.
Two things. Number one, I put it on my Facebook page that even though we can't be at church as prayer warriors, I said I would be available anytime if you needed prayer. You can reach me on here or text me or whatever, or prayers to be kept private and that. And then Debbie Cox sent us an email today. I said how frustrated I was that because I'm high risk, I couldn't be in the office. But they said, well, we're not going to pay you time off to stay home in quarantine. If you do, you have to use your own PTO. And I got frustrated with that. And Debbie just says, well, you know, they probably need your encouragement and optimism at work. And I just kind of went, okay. So that's what I did. And I'm calling people. I talked to Sam and Nancy and Lucy the other night. I loved hearing Lucy's voice.
Oh, she loves that. She loves that so much. She loves the phone call.
Good.
Yep. So I'm checking on different people at different times.
Good.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So kind of that law of empowerment where you're able to help those around you and really implement that.
Well, I don't know that I would call it a law of empowerment. I would just say that's something that I like to do. So, you know.
I hear you.
I still can't wrap my head around the fact that there's laws. So many things that I tend to think that we do naturally that we don't put a name to them.
Well, we've been using the law of gravity since before Isaac Newton. So the law of gravity was still there. He just labeled it, gave us something to think about it. That way we could abstractly conceptualize what it is we're talking about.
Those are some big words, Andrew.
IR homeschooled.
Yes, you are.
All right, I were homeschooled. Regardless, I think that's great, Donna. I think it's really a form. Are you still having to go to work right now?
Unfortunately, yes. They won't close the office down. Half the office is working from home. The rest of us have to go into the office. And they issued us travel papers, believe it or not, if we get stopped, to prove that we're going to and from work.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, I see a lot of businesses are not following the stay-at-home order.
Oh, wow.
Down in Canton, you see a lot of construction companies open, a lot of, I saw some landscaping businesses open. So not everybody is adhering to it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Landscape is
You're the first
outside.
one that I've heard, and you're the first person I've spoken with individually whose bosses aren't following the. Are y'all at least 6 feet away at work?
For the most part, we are. I've got another cubicle on the other side of me. Our desks are 2.5 feet wide and have a wall about 2.5 feet tall, and that's separating us. But for the most part, we are. I mean, there's nothing we can do. We can't work from home and we can't take time off. We have to go into the office.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks for staying positive over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost lost it the other night, to be sure, but I got it. I got my head wrapped around it. It's just a weird concept.
Talk through it. You can give me a call.
Huh?
You're welcome to call us. I'm available if you are about to lose it again.
Well, there's one interesting point, Andrew, and I don't know that a lot of people have picked up on it, but our senior citizens who are in their 90s and above, they've come full circle with their lives because many of them started with the Great Depression, then went through all the wars, then did the millennium switchover, and now are back to a point where some of them feel like this is the Great Depression. So they've come full circle, which is just a pretty interesting thing.
That is interesting. I didn't think about that. Was Lucy? She was 31. 1931 was her birthday. Because I looked that up.
I think we went through the Depression, yeah.
Well, I guess she was born during the Depression because it was.
Yeah, I know her family was super, super poor. And then my grandpa, her husband in the future, his family did great because they were bootleggers, so they were just fine.
Yes, bootleggers prospered during that. But if you think about it, it could happen again because bars are closed, restaurants, taverns are closed unless you pick up and carry out or whatever. But it's come full circle to our country.
Yeah, that is an interesting thought. I hadn't thought about that yet.
Gideon, stop it. Thank you.
Mark, did you want to say something, man? I see your camera's live again. We got your attention.
Yeah, I'm in it. I caught a little bit of that. Yeah, we found out. Well, I found out Sunday that we were an essential company, but I was off Monday and Tuesday. And kind of, just my confusion in the whole essential and non-essential. A lot of these companies have found loopholes in that whole what is essential and what's not essential. So we found out, that we do some telecom type business and we do some electrical business. So that kind of like it's made us essential. We may have only maybe sold $1 million worth of product over a year, which is very small in our business, but it considers us essential. So a lot of people are I think my biggest problem I've had is that they offered people to take off if they felt unsafe, which is cool and that's great. But instead of them offering to have them maybe take their we don't have PTO, we just have sick days, and then we have vacation. They offered them vacation, which if you think about it, if you can take your vacation, you're good. I mean, go ahead and take off. But now we have a high number of people. The stress of the work is now falling on those people. So now just trying to get that system under control and understand that, like when I went to my superiors above me, as I'm dealing with the people that are, that work under me, is, you're going to have a lot of people here that are going to be very upset come 2 weeks, and they're probably going to be a lot of call-offs that following week, and trying to get, boost people up. I felt the pain of it today because I have 10 people in my direct area, and 3 of them took the vacation. So, losing, 30% of your workforce in your particular area has been really struggle for us. So just trying to fight through that. And that's kind of been the struggle, and had meetings with my, with my superiors today. And it just, just kind of proved that point, is that, it will not be business as usual. And they need to understand that. And I think they're having a hard time understanding that it's not business as usual, but you lose 30% of your workforce in an area, it's going to be tough to be able to get the numbers that you want to get, as much as you're trying to, get it going right. But it's kind of been a struggle today. So
Wow.
We'll keep on working it. But
how are you showing up and leading in that, Mark?
What's that?
I mean, you kind of described it in a little bit of a story form, but
yeah,
how exactly are you showing up and leading in this, business is unusual right now?
Well, I'm having to lead it in a different form than I'm able to have to. I've actually have to go out there on the floor and actually do the work of some of the people. So it's a different role than I always do. I'm leading by doing it, because losing 30% of the people, I have to pick up that slack. Normally I'm able to just help out, do different things, but now I'm actually in doing like 2 different people's jobs that they would normally do. It's just not something I normally do. So trying to lead by example on just going out there and doing it to help the other, 6 guys and girls that are out there, trying to help them get good, get the day done for them. So it's kind of, I'm just going out there just to help them out in just their function. And that's how I've had to do it. And it's they're appreciative of it. I just think right now, I think the above me, I don't see the appreciation coming from them. And that's kind of been the struggle as I've had to deal with my meetings with them today, is that I don't think they feel the pain that our group is feeling because of the workforce that took off. So it's not that they took off, it's more of I think a lack of planning. I was off on vacation, the lack of planning by them above, and I come into kind of the mess today trying to clean it up. It's kind of been a little bit of a challenge to do that, because I've had to then get out of my natural role of leading and actually go in and do. And it's been a little bit of a struggle, but we're trying to get through it. So hopefully within the next couple of days, I can kind of get things back on track, and then go into next week and we'll be in a better situation. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
What happens, I guess from the way I understand it, we haven't even hit peak numbers yet for the number of cases that we can have. Will there be a whole lot more change coming because we haven't, really peaked out on any level, you think?
I believe if it comes down to that situation, I think it's a whole different ball game. I think it might be at that point, if it comes from the governor or it comes from the president, that if they go to a point to where it has to be complete shutdown, because right now it's just essential companies. Well, what do they deem to be that time to where everyone's not essential at this time? They would probably, if we did shut down, then it would be an unemployment type stage. Mm-hmm. And I think they would have to go into that route. I don't think they want to do that. I personally hope that we don't get to that point, because I think that there's issues with that I don't think people see. But if it's what our leaders call and they think it's the best thing, then we have to kind of abide by it. But that would be, I think if we get to that point, then you're looking at unemployment type situation. So it sounds like to me, though, it will be open until it comes from President Trump. That's what it sounds like for me. So
okay, get up there and sit down. Go on, get up there.
All right, Gary, you have any thoughts, or Marissa?
Yeah, I have some thoughts, but how do I turn on my audio on my video?
Are you on a phone or are you on your computer?
I'm on my phone.
Okay. Let me try to remember. I think if you tap the screen once, you should see 5 tabs at the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Gideon, behave.
And Donna, if you've got a lot of noises or anything, you can mute yourself when you're not talking, and then you don't have to worry about Gideon. He can bark all he wants.
He's not barking. He's trying to sit in my lap.
Okay. I see you, Gary.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Okay, I can't see myself. Oh, there I am. There I am.
Hello, Mr. Carter.
Hi, everyone. Hey, I've had a fantastic week. I try to be a forward thinker and a learner and a teacher and a coach in a lot of different things. And I personally have gone to college all week. I've been to Hillsdale College on their audio, video, free courses, and I'm studying Economics 101. And the 3 courses that I took today were talking about how the government can shift the curve of what we're all experiencing. And it was just fascinating. The lecturer was a professor from Hillsdale College, and he was saying how many different ways they can impact and what the unintended consequences are of doing things various different ways. And it was, do you put more money in? Do you change the credit lines for people? Do you support businesses? And it's everything that we're hearing in the what's going on behind the scenes in negotiations that Mr. Muchin is talking about. And the other thing is I had a chance to give my grandson Carson a lecture on the stock market. Okay.
Great.
Now, he was just fascinated by it.
Good.
And I can ask you this question. People that are investors or business owners or entrepreneurs, they look for the right time to invest, purchase, start, build, create, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so one thing in the world we're in at the moment right now is everybody using that is changing the way the world will be in the future. What one product or service?
Internet.
Anybody have an idea?
Well, the internet's been huge since a lot of people work from home. And
okay, the internet's going to change the way we educate the future generations. They're going to find out that we don't need as many teachers, or teaching will be done in a different way. So 10 years from now, you're going to see a curve change, I believe. Also, right now, we're in 3G and 4G technology, right?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Okay. By the year 2020, which we're in, they're going to release 5G. In Tokyo, for the Olympic Games, they were going to turn the whole city into 5G. Now, bear with me when I'm sharing with what this means. Okay, to download a movie on 3 or 4G, I'm told it takes 5 to 7 minutes to download to your computer.
Thank you.
In 5G, it's going to be 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so the companies of the future and the investors of the future need to find the companies that are heavily into that market and figure out which ones are going to be the most successful and back them, grow them, and get them in the hands of the masses of people that we have. And there's 7 of those companies that are in the what they call the chip market. The chip is what makes everything go and allows us to do this. What we're doing now could not have happened a few years ago.
True.
We're having a meeting, and it's not costing us a thing. Now, I think maybe you had to buy a membership or something to support this, but you can do this basically for free in small groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My brother goes to meetings for various things, and they are all shut down all around the city of Akron. He goes to Alcoholics Anonymous. He goes to these different meetings and all that, and none of them can meet in person now. Guess what they're doing? They're doing virtual meetings.
Yeah.
Just like we're doing. Isn't that fabulous?
Oh, absolutely.
Strange
And
to
so,
me.
Strange.
so one of the things, the term I always use is unintended consequences. Some of them are terrible, and some of them are wonderful. And so what we have to learn from where we're at right now is what good can come out of a lot of what's going on. How do we support each other? How do we support the church? How do we support our support groups? Our food cupboard this week, we served 127 people, and 60 of them were brand new to the cupboard.
Wow.
Wow.
And they did that with a brand new method. Instead of them coming into the church and getting their food, they come into their car, got a number, they were recorded, and the food was brought and put in their car. No humans other than our support staff touched the food.
Great. Awesome.
Isn't that, so one of the things, I guess where I'm going with all this is learning the value of where we're at in every situation and figuring out some good or ways to do things better or to interject a different way of thinking. So.
Yeah, Andrew, he was kind of explaining it as it's almost like society is like fasting a little bit, and some of the maybe non-essentials or something that wasn't the way it's supposed to be is kind of burning off a little bit, and we're kind of having a little bit of a reset, a little bit of a cleanse.
Yeah, to explain that a little bit, not everyone, I don't know if you all know some of the details. When you're on a fast, what happens is your body stops using the food that you're eating as energy, and it switches to using the fats in your body as energy. It'll convert fat into energy. So all of the fat that you've been storing up, which is why we store up fat for whenever we have fasting times or famine times, we can survive, your body will switch over and start eating away. And our society has, quote, grown fat in our economics. So I feel like there's a pruning and there's just a fasting that's happening during this time. But to your point, Gary, about like 5G and the internet and technology, I feel that people who are lazy to coming around on technological advances, or just like the laggards, they're speeding and jumping so far up. I heard a professor today who's older, it wasn't today, it was recently, say that he never expected to do long distance learning. He always expected to have kids in his class in a physical boardroom professor setting. Well, now he's doing Zoom meetings with all of his college students. You know, that changes the mindset for every single human being on planet Earth, and at least in America, that's using technology to subsidize what we currently try to do in person. And it's forcing them to use it because the options were there. I've used Zoom for years now, but now it's not optional. You're forced to use it, and it's only for a season, so it's going to go away. We'll fade back into handshakes and in-person meetings and stuff. That's not going away. Once coronavirus is done, humans always love to interact and meet together and stuff. But now everybody has tasted technology. Everybody is forced to taste technology during this time, or you're completely irrelevant. Like you're not relevant to what's going on at hand. So
what this has allowed me to do is because I'm interested in lots of things, and I'm working with about 5 different individuals of different ages and some are companies, some are startups, some are wannabes, those kinds of things. I'm able to find interesting articles that I think would help them at the stage they're in, and I'm able to send those things to them electronically. I don't have to call them. I can send them an email. Like I sent one to you today. I know you get lots of emails. I don't know if you got it, but I sent you one from Brian Tracy on Thinking Smart, SMART, and setting your goals for your business. And so these are things that I can do in my living room or my front porch office. I have an office on my front porch. And and so I just, if I find something interesting, I send it to you. And maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Maybe it just hits a curve, a nerve, or something.
We love Brian Tracy. He's great.
we have a 3-day seminar from Brian Tracy, and yeah, Brian Tracy is amazing stuff.
Yeah, he's great.
What about you, honey?
So,
Yeah, I like Brian Tracy.
Everybody else has shared. My original question. It's your turn.
Let's see here. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of try to calm some people down. I've, had another person from my line of work contact me who's a little bit more prone to getting frenzied than we are. And so I guess trying to, help reassure a little bit. Not that I'm a huge factor, but a little bit.
He listens to you.
Yeah.
He looks up to you.
Yeah, so doing that a little bit. We've obviously had a lot of, things to try to figure out on our own too. So trying to kind of, like he kind of said, it took a little bit of time to regroup, try to lead ourselves well so we can try to help other people. So yeah, we kind of decided to just kind of hunker down a little bit and really get everything working more fluidly. So organizing, and we just had a huge disaster today, and so Andrew is helping me lead that well. But
we almost canceled the meeting.
Yeah, I was like, this is an emergency.
Yeah.
So our
well, because you're a small business owner,
yeah,
make sure you understand what the government has put in place for you. And there's things that already are circulating on the internet for lost contracts, lost low interest loans if you have to keep yourself afloat. There's so many different things that don't think you shouldn't take advantage of them if they're lawful and you can use them.
Yeah. Well, we have a nice savings, and then both of our families are willing to loan us money, so we should be fine. We'll survive.
Yeah, I'm looking at what cash is available, but we're not really looking to get tied up in a loan because we just don't need it right now. But I'm acutely aware that we might need it. And if we do need it, then I'm keeping my ears to the ground on that one. But as of right now, I don't think it's what we need. We have to set aside for a rainy day. And
I sent an email to a company that I'm working with on how to apply for assistance. So I'll find that email and send it to you. And you just put it in your back pocket.
Thanks.
And,
yeah, because I heard it's pretty frustrating on how to apply. I've heard some other people had some frustration, which doesn't surprise me, but I'm interested in hearing about it. I'd love to read that. And I did get your other email. I just haven't been checking emails because of our catastrophe we had to give all of our attention to today. So yeah, it's pretty real. Okay, so for this meeting, I'm really glad that we could congregate here and have a meeting about leadership, because kind of what the world needs in times like these. If you look throughout our book, John Maxwell identifies saying, hey, boom, catastrophe happened. Boom, injustice was being done to a certain demographic. Boom, there were problems with people that they couldn't fix on their own. Okay, leader comes in, either rises up from amongst them, or leader comes in from the outside to kind of save the day, but not save their day, save them and help them save their own day. There's a big
Teaching
scale.
them how to save their day.
Yeah, teaching them how to save their day, being a guide, being a leader, not always having to do it. And that's why I was acutely listening to what you were talking about, Mark. Like, I have to get on the floor and do the work. And I'm like, that is humility in action when it's the right time to do it. But also, man, you got to be aware of, okay, my leadership is better put being the supervisor of the whole plant. I can't do that. I have to find somebody else to delegate and come around to do that. But humility in action is like a billionaire taking their own luggage up to their hotel room. You know, they can outsource that, but they do it anyways, just out of humility or as a teaching lesson. So I feel like that's what you're doing. Like, I'm willing to get my hands dirty. I'm willing to lead from the floor. That was the heart that I heard in your words. But make sure that you're also like knowing your role as supervisor or second in command or whatever position you are. I guarantee you the powers that be, Mark, right now are watching and like, okay, let's see if Mark really is the guy that can run this whole plant during this time. How is he going to handle the people? There's a dude, Patrick Bet-David, I've told you all about him before, and he was walking through his office, and some people are working in office similar to Donna's. Some people are working from home because they're in Texas and they don't actually have, well, maybe they do now, but at the time of the video, which was like last week, you know, he just said he was walking through and, you know, he asked one of his employees, you know, what's going on? And she just started crying for like 2 or 3 minutes. And he said, hey,
I can relate to that.
you know, you did that?
That was our goal.
I think we need to work on our sensitivity and looking at what's going on around us and looking for ways that we can positively change the situation.
I love that. And that's so key. So looking out to see what the situation is in reality. And then we look inside, and this is a quote from John Maxwell, we look inside for that solution to that problem. When we're coming up with an idea, or we're stimulating and thinking about how can I build the spirit man, as what Paul, the apostle, always talked about, building up and edifying the spirit man so I have something to give to other people. I think that's powerful, Gary, what you're talking about, like looking outside, helping other people. I'm kind of curious because during this time, our life circumstances, when we're not meeting at church and taking care of like a couple weekly different types of activities, our business, we don't have lots of employees. We don't have any employees. So it's kind of us two and our clients. And our clients aren't exactly like texting us every day because they're not retainer clients. They're an event client. So they book us for an event. We don't talk to them for another 6 months. That's kind of how it works on the larger scale.
Scale.
Yeah, because reptiles have scales. But okay.
Oh.
For us, we're
those clients can be brought in a closer relationship to you by reaching out to them before the event numerous times, though, and showing interest in them. So.
We do that as things approach, as business as usual. But right now, that's not a good use of our time based on our current lifestyle and how we balance those things, because sometimes they don't want to hear from us that much. And we try to, she's really good at finding the balance. I'm not in the customer service department. She's way better at connecting with the girls. Typically, like 60 or 75% of our clients are women. So she understands the balance of texting them and emailing them and stuff. For us, when we're not reaching out to the clients, because there's not a lot of like travel time going to shows and stuff, we're kind of pulling back a little bit. And we're leading by the example of saying, have you ever asked yourself, I wish the world would just give me an extra 2 weeks so I could get caught up on things. And now we have that chance. The world's just kind of been on pause. Now, I see your mark going like this, like kind of. Because for everyone, it's not the exact same. I mean, Cindy might be at work right now. I don't know. She could be working late because, each business is different. We're self-employed, so we can choose not to overwork ourselves during this time and actually take care of our reptiles, upgrade some cage stuff, work on our CRM, like Gary's talking about, how often we talk to them, and sending a letter to them in the mail, and getting our house more so in order with different things that we've just procrastinated on. So we've been trying to lead by not doing things. And it's a weird conundrum because a lot of people are like, we need to be on social media, putting out positive content and doing. And I'm like, maybe not. Maybe inaction is the correct action. Just to be present with somebody, to be available for somebody else, and to teach by example that it's okay not to be a, quote, busy bee. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is a workaholic per se. Now, if you love your work, you're never a workaholic. You work 90 hours a week and you love your life, and life is great. For us, we work a lot, but we also like to play. We also like to just enjoy and journal and take walks in the park and stuff. That's our work-life balance. Not everybody has that. Not everybody wants that. But for you, are you taking margin to make sure you're mentally sharp, that you're mentally fully present and not just, it's a weird time, so I got to work harder. It's a weird time, so I have to drudge along, or I have to do this. But changing and making sure, like Brian Tracy says in so many of his talks, your positive mental attitude is in place before you're approaching the day. That way you can be fully present with every single person you're going about. During this chaos, being slightly chaotic is still calm because everybody else is in such chaos. So you don't have to be perfect at it. But if you can just be more of a rock than the river that's just rushing and crazy, then people look to you as a North Star, as something that's solid, that they can count on, that can be trusted. It's the law of solid ground, really, now that it came to mind, with what Larry talked about in law number 6, the law of solid ground. So I'm kind of curious, between all of our fantastic minds here, is there an example? I guess I don't really have a specific question. I know somebody here has something to say, so I'll shut up and you all agree with what I said or disagree. There's no judgment if you disagree or if you agree. I'm an open book.
I have a question for Mark.
Yes.
Since the schools have closed, you've gotten a taste of the homeschooling. How's it going?
Love it. Actually, I actually love it. I think God kind of used this to give us an idea of about what we're
this.
Yeah, I think it's been great. I mean, the first couple of days were they were hiccup because it was new, but I think as we've gotten into it, and it's kind of what's been good about it is because we get an idea of kind of what we have to look forward to. So Summer, she's off for the next 2 weeks. They shut down her office because she works at Children's Hospital in the rehab department. They consider that non-essential. Well, let's see, essential some of it. So they're down to like a 2-team thing. So they have a few ladies are working right now, and then in 2 weeks, Summer will go, and then those ladies will then drop off for a couple weeks. That's what they're kind of doing right now. So, Summer's been able to kind of really watch what's going on. This week, of course, is their regular spring break. So they're not doing anything anyway. So this was their original spring break. But last week was their first week, and then next week we go into it. But it's been great. I love it. I think God's kind of gave us an opportunity to kind of see what we're about to go into. So it's been good. So I'm fortunate for that. And, I mean, it's been, I personally, I've loved it. Even though I love assembling with you guys and being at church with you guys, I've gotten the best out of this time kind of away too, because I've been able to more directly go in with just me and God time. And
Yeah.
I've had a lot more time of that, just that me and God time, and then being able to kind of swing it to the whole family. But it's been really beneficial to have that, just that one-on-one with God, because I think it's something that I needed, and this slow up pace has kind of helped that happen. So that's what I'm very, very happy with this whole, everything that's gone of. I mean, God doesn't make mistakes. I think this is all in his timing. This is his plan, and it's been beneficial for me personally. So that's what I'm happy for.
So you haven't had to do any in-school suspension like a lot of my friends have.
No, I was actually looking to see if I could get him to transfer to another school, though. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but yeah, we were joking about that. We were saying, we might have to see if you can transfer across the street, because I don't know if it's going to work. So, but no, the first couple of days it was just kind of, but the girls are more on it because they're the ones that are going to be doing the homeschool next year. Braden's bummed out just because, I mean, it's his senior year. He had a knee injury last year. He couldn't play baseball. He made the team. Then he won the starting second base position. And then now it's looking like a very good possibility that they will not play.
Mm.
So he's bummed out a little bit of the fact, he put all that work in, and so I just try to keep him, encouraged. And that's actually why I was a little late going in, because he just wanted to toss the ball around a little bit. So we were out there tossing the ball and just kind of he's bummed out a little bit, but he's adjusting with it. It's just, he put a lot of work in to get to where we're at, and he's kind of just bummed out that, he's still holding out hope, but it doesn't look like they're going to play, but we don't know. But I'm just trying to encourage him. It's kind of like, we go through we have things that come up, and we just got to, rise above it and, rely on God in these situations, especially when you don't understand why. You put the work in and this and that. But other than that, I think he's just the whole, your senior year, he is just kind of looking forward to just having, you got prom, you have all these little things and stuff like that. And he's just missing out on some of that stuff. And I think it kind of gave him bummed him out a little bit, but I think he's doing better. So, and it's actually, I mean, it's weird because he's had his last grading period was the best grading period he's had his whole high school. So he's actually, I think, maybe growing up a little bit. So, but it's been good. So other than that, though, the homeschooling's it was different for the first couple of days, but it's been kind of good. Gives us a little taste of it. So a little appetizer.
That's good.
Yeah. So thank you for asking, though.
Well, I think a lot of parents have been surprised by having to push their kids to do the work that they would have had to do in school, and it's opening up a lot of parents' eyes to how much time they've actually let them have on electronics that have taken away, so it's been an eye-opener for some of the parents. I think this might work good for everybody.
Well, I think it's good, because I think the other part is good about it is that you actually can kind of see, what the teachers go through on a day-to-day basis. I mean, especially as our kids are respectful and stuff like that. But I could see some of these parents where you have a teacher that says, "Oh, this child's doing this, or this child doesn't do this," and then maybe some of the parents are actually seeing maybe the teachers weren't telling. They were probably always maybe they always were telling the truth.
Like you deal with it for a while now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was different there at first, but I think now they're getting into a groove, and then of course this is spring break, so they'll have to bounce back in. But I mean, who's to say how long this is going to be? There's talk of that. They don't know if it's going to be the rest of the year. Something to wait to see, but. I think it's been a good little test run for us. So, thank God for that, because He gave us a little taste of it. So, and I'll still be picking your guys' brains up there, Marissa and Andrew, when it comes to get a little bit closer to it, but because I know you guys kind of know about it. So,
yeah, in terms of, spending more time with God and stuff, I was telling Andrew, it's almost like America hadn't taken a Sabbath for a while. And so God's like, okay, guys, Sabbath time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's been great. I mean, I think that's the hardest part, I think, is doing our small group type of stuff. That stuff was always beneficial. And
Yeah.
I mean, but I think in assembling at church is it's good, but we're still getting a taste of it. And I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, opportunities like this where you keep
we wouldn't
that.
have seen you if you were at Awana.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I look at that. I mean, yes, just something like that. I mean, I would be in Awana and that, and I wouldn't be a part of this, but then now, this technology is here to be able to have something like this is pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. So, I think it's cool because the girls they're probably finishing up now, but the youth group is doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool to have, to have the youth kind of meet up in this kind of setting too, and they can still kind of meet. And so, as some people think, some people look at like, oh, a church is trying to close, or is the government trying to control it, this and that. It's like, if God wants us to assemble, we'll find a way to assemble. So that's not a big deal. So
yeah, I heard somebody say, like, people always say, oh, we're the church. And it's like, well, now you better be, because you are the church.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not relying on the building now. You're relying on what Christ said that we were. So yeah, absolutely.
Everything's a front porch ministry, just yelling at people across the porch. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Gary, did you mean that your office is actually literally on your front porch, or just that you share your information with other people?
No, I actually have a front porch office. It's a big table with an awning and internet, and my neighbors come over and have coffee sometimes, and we talk about lots of stuff. Every once in a while, Sandy joins me, and I go to college on the front porch.
I'm glad I asked for clarity, because I just thought it was the concept of like, oh, I'm sharing it with other people and I'm open, and that's awesome.
I thought he meant front porch.
I was hoping he did.
I get to see the dog. I get to see my frequent dog walkers. They come by pretty regularly. They all have a routine. I say hi.
Give them a social distance hug,
Yeah.
Well, I think
don't even bring that up. I feel isolated enough. I can't give out my hugs to people, and it really rankles me. I am so out of sorts with that.
Aww.
But I have my buddy I can hug.
Aww. Is that
Say hi, Gideon. There's Gideon.
Oh, nice. Well, I think this has been good. I'd love to do something similar next week, because we're still in March. We've got one more law to go. And so, since I didn't really have the answers, coronavirus happened, and now we can do Zoom calls.
Pretty funny, actually.
If Donna wants to give, and Donna, I'm happy to hear your opinion. If you want to give it on Zoom, great, we can do it on Zoom. But if you want to wait and see if we're allowed to meet again, at least in small groups, because our class is less than 10. So if the government allows that again after April 6th, then we could meet up on a Wednesday night, and like we have been, and finish up with you in person.
It's whatever you want to do.
I'd really kick the can down the road a little bit and just do another like leadership meeting, because my gosh, it feels like it's been the content of a year shoved into the last week. So,
got that right.
Yeah, so the fact that between now and next Wednesday, I'm sure we'll have a whole, and just be paying attention. Think about Governor DeWine. Think about Donald Trump. Think about whoever our Akron mayor is, or your city's mayor, and listen, because I haven't heard anything. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I'm kind of plugged into the political scene and paying attention to what happens, but I don't even know the name of our mayor. Do you know the name of the mayor?
It's
Mayor Horgan.
Mayor Horgan, yeah.
He's a Democratic mayor, and he's extremely good, in my opinion. He is, I believe he's a Catholic gentleman, but he's very moral, very disciplined, and very pro-Akron. And so I give him very high marks.
Oh, good.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. So paying attention, with what it is that we can do, right? Because we can't control other people, but we can listen and learn and see what's going to happen. The other thing to pay attention to is the influencers you listen to. I know Gary's reading articles and we're watching YouTube videos and stuff. Like, to me, I was a little surprised that Patrick Bet David kind of waited as long as he did to put something out. I was watching. I thought that was interesting. But then he even tweeted recently that, hey, sometimes inaction is the best step you can take, because it's what's best for that moment, is to do nothing but to be present. And so I've just been paying attention to different leaders, different people that I follow, to see what it is that they're doing, and then think about how we can add value. Maybe the best way for you to add value is to take a Sabbath week all week long and do nothing to relax.
I've heard a lot of different people criticizing Governor DeWine for what he's doing. Some of my people that I work with think it's just to an extreme. It's
Aggressive.
they think he's over. I can't think of the word. He's taking it to an extreme that he shouldn't have.
To an
So,
extreme?
yeah, they think he's too extreme with his measures.
Correct. But what he has said, and Donald Trump and Dr. Fauci have all stated, is what we do right now that kind of seems extreme is really the accurate thing to do, because this virus is going to go crazy. What was it? Predictions. I saw a model. Actually saw somebody that did a model for the production of tests in the United States. By the 30th, which is Monday, is expected to have 300,000 test positive in the United States. Like 1% of our current populations, we're at 330 million people, roughly, take a few million. So that's literally 3.3 million people having positive tests of the coronavirus if just 1% of America gets it. So when we're talking about like small numbers, it's small in percentages, but it's a large number. And so like he is taking some extreme measures, but I'd love you to watch it and hear your thoughts next week of what Governor DeWine has done. And what's the doctor's name? Eaton? Anton? Eaton?
Amy Acton or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's doing a really good job presenting the information. Like, I don't know if I agree with everything, but she's not a bad communicator at all. Like, she's well polished in saying how it is. There's not really confusion with her speech. She's answering the questions directly from a medical perspective and also making it in layman's terms so everybody can understand why we're doing the social distancing, why we're doing this, which is great leadership, communicating, But yeah, people do have their opinions. But Donna, I want to hear your opinion on Governor DeWine next week.
Yeah, that needs to give me some thought.
Another
by the way, Andrew and Melissa, happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary. I didn't know. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know how
March
close.
30th. Yeah.
Monday. We're going to be traveling to our living room.
Oh, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, not going anywhere. We might get some takeout, support the local businesses, and get some good food, and we don't have to cook. So that's nice.
That is always the best.
Places with great shrimp. Text me, email me. All right, Carter?
Okay.
Hey, Donna.
Yeah.
Would you mind praying for us, closing us out this meeting, and praying for our country, our leaders, and each one of us as we're, where we are today?
All right. Lord Jesus, we thank you for another day that has come and gone. We thank you that you've given us opportunities to use the talents that you gave each one of us. I am especially thankful for talents of Gary and Marissa and Andrew and Mark and John and Cindy and Debbie and Larry, because I've learned a lot from them, and I'm learning more every day as I get to watch them and see them and hear them. I just thank you that these people can share their knowledge and wisdom with me. I pray for each one of these people and their families that they are kept safe from this virus, and just protect them all the way around, and continue to let us to reach out and be your hands and feet to people that need us. Help us to go forward in this week, and we just thank you and praise you in your holy name. And everyone said,
Amen.
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 Amen. All right, folks. Call me if you need something. I love every one of you.
All right, love you guys. Talk to you later.
Andrew and Marissa, I got something to show you.
All right, then I will leave the meeting going a little longer.